Alright YouTube, it's time for the Occult Video 76, the New World Order, the Illuminati, Bavarian Illuminati, secret societies, cults, Masons. As far as the New World Order goes, take a look at Herbert Walker Bush, Daddy Bush, obviously corrupt, complete lunatic, warmonger, ineffectual, puked on the Japanese Prime Minister after eating sushi and so forth. He was a chucklehead. He was more dumb than W ever was, and that's quite an accomplishment. W just pretended to be dumb. He learned that from his father, but Herbert Walker was legitimately stupid. Anyway... When he made his New World Order speech, a lot of people, Alex Jones, David Icke, and like Henry McCowan, all the conspiracy crowds, they take this to mean like, oh, we're going to destroy all nations, we're going to have one global flag, one global anthem, one global border, it'll just be humankind, we're going to homogenize and oppress everyone, grind them down, just be complete tyrants and nobody will stand in our way. Now, the logistics of such a plan I don't think would quite work. I think it would take you a long time to implement it, and you'd probably fail anyway.
The bottom line is that you take the roots of that organization and you find out that they created in all of the British dependencies what they call roundtable groups. And then around those little roundtable groups, they created front groups. And the purpose of these front groups and roundtable groups was to penetrate into the governments of all of these different countries, to penetrate into the media centers, to penetrate into the educational systems. In other words, to penetrate into the social fabric, the power centers of society, and literally take them over from the inside without anybody being aware that they were controlling influence.
But what he was actually referring to with the term New World Order is quite literally the American order. That is the New World, as in not Europe, Africa, or Asia. The Old World. The New World is the Americas. When people came to North and South America, they referred to it as the New World.
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order, where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind.
But the New World Order is not some mass takeover plot of globalism.
The Council's journal, Foreign Affairs, has pushed for world government for over 90 years. In its first year of publication, 1922, it declared, "Obviously, there is going to be no peace or prosperity for mankind so long as it remains divided into 50 or 60 independent states. The real problem today is that of world government."
So the idea that we're going to have one flag, one world order, one world religion and so forth, it's just not going to happen. There's no way to do it without causing a massive worldwide civil war that would lead to World War III.
The League of Nations was the first attempt at the New World Order, the first attempt at a global government based on the model of collectivism. And it was the brainchild of the elitists, the ancestors of the very people who are still working on this project. They're collectivists, the very wealthy people. They're the ones in this country who dominated the powerful tax-exempt foundations, like the Carnegie Endowment Fund for International Peace, the Rockefeller Funds, the Ford Foundation, and groups like that. These people were on record, even way back then, that they had to have a new world government, and they dreamed of that being embodied in the League of Nations.
As far as the Illuminati goes, the Illuminati did exist, the Bavarian Illuminati. We're talking an Enlightenment era sort of gentleman's club, a philosophical movement of sorts, a social movement of sorts.
The courier was struck dead by lightning on his way from Frankfurt to Paris. The police found the subversive documents on his body and turned them over to the proper government authorities. After careful study of the plot, the Bavarian government ordered the police to raid Weissaup's newly organized lodges of the Grand Orient. Additional evidence thus obtained convinced the authorities that documents were a genuine copy of a conspiracy by which the Synagogue of Satan had controlled the Illuminati at the top, planned to use wars and revolutions to bring about the establishment of one kind or another of a one-world government, the powers of which they intended to usurp as soon as it was established. In 1785, the Bavarian government outlawed the Illuminati and closed the lodges of the Grand Orient. In 1786, they published the details of the conspiracy. Adam Weishaupt, a Jesuit-trained professor of canon law, defected from Christianity and embraced the Luciferian ideology while teaching at Ingolstadt University. In 1770, the money lenders who had recently organized the House of Rothschild retained him to revise and modernize the age-old protocols designed to give the synagogue of Satan ultimate world domination so they can impose the Luciferian ideology upon what remains of the human race after the final social cataclysm by use of satanic despotism. Weishaupt completed his task on May the 1st, 1776. The plan required the destruction of all existing governments and religions. In 1776, Weishaupt organized the Illuminati to put the plot into execution. The word Illuminati is derived from Lucifer and means holders of the light.
I made a video years ago that discussed how if there were such a group that were actively endeavoring towards the goals that were specifically stated at the time of the Enlightenment when the group did exist, then I'd be all for it. I'd support them completely. I'd say, fine, let them, give them control of things. Let them restructure the world.
Weishaupt's revised plan required his Illuminati to do the following things to help them accomplish their purpose. 1. Use monetary and sex bribery to obtain control of people already occupying positions in high places in the various levels of all governments and other fields of human endeavor. Once an influential person had fallen for the lies, deceits, and temptations of the Illuminati, they were to be held in bondage by application of political and other forms of blackmail and threats of financial ruin, public exposure, and physical harm, and even death to themselves and their loved ones. Number 12. Told those present that they must use their wealth to have candidates chosen to public office who would be obedient to their demands and would be used as pawns in the game by the men behind the scenes. The advisors will have been bred, reared, and trained from childhood to rule the affairs of the world. Number 13, control the press. Number 16, infiltrate into the secret Freemasonry to be used for their purposes. That's been documented many times. Number 17, expound the value of systematic deception, use high-sounding slogans and phrases, and advocate lavish promises to the masses, even though they cannot be kept.
It'd be great. We'd actually have real classical liberalism. People wouldn't be at each other's throats all the time. People would generally get along. They'd be under a lot less social stress.